And welcome back to the Gran Turismo Online League. It's time for a new series, the Late Model Stock Tour, presented by the Gran Turismo Online League. And as always, I'm joined here in the booth by two-time GTO champion, Rashad Metz. Rashad, how are you doing today?
Miles, I am doing awesome, man. It's great to be back in the booth. Super excited to introduce this new series to you guys. Let's get right on ahead.
Yeah, we got a great field stacked with 19 of the best late model stock car drivers from in and out of the country. Got some foreign drivers on the field here today, female and male, so a lot of diversity in the pack today. What do you think the challenges of this race are going to be here today?
I mean, well, this is a new track for these guys, especially. So these guys have a lot of experience. I feel like they're going to be able to take to this track and try to figure it out. It's multiple grooves that you can run, so trying to figure out what's the fastest lane as the races go on, as the tires wear. So it'll be super exciting to see these guys all over this racetrack today.
This is really fun racetrack. We've raced here multiple times before. Last time we were here was for the GTO, the Strictly Stock Series, and Miles Johnson ended up winning that race. So we've had a lot of fun races here. We've had a lot of action-packed races here, and I'm sure that this one will be no different. Let's go ahead and get down to our starting lineup. Starting on pole here today is Peyton Sellers, the number 26 car. To his outside will be William Byron.
Rolling off next, we have R.A. Brown in the number 60 machine. Rolling off behind him, we have Ty Majeski in the 91 iRacing car.
Rolling off in row 3 is going to be Bubba Pollard in the number 26 car and Regina Servent in the number 10 car.
Rolling off next, we have Josh Berry in that beautiful 62 machine, and Kyle Larson in the 5. Super excited to see him out here.
Nice to see some Cup drivers in the field today. Rolling off in the row right behind them is the number 99 of Lang Riggs. On the outside is the Rocket, David Roberts, out of Anderson, South Carolina.
All right, we have Brandon Queen rolling off next in there, and then Dale Jr. in that 3 machine.
Rolling up behind him is Corey High, made some start in the Truck Series. Nice to see him back in a late model. And Carson Quapple, the late model stock Series champion for the Cars Tour last year.
Rolling off next, we have that number 4 of Eric Jones. What a beautiful scheme right there. You know, blue is my favorite color. Rolling off next is the 21 of Tony Breidinger. Hopefully we see her get a good run today.
Rolling off behind them is Connor Hall in the number 77, and to the outside, Katie Hedinger out of Hickory, North Carolina.
And rolling off in P last, not P last, we still have 2 other drivers. The 78 of Huffman out here in that
beautiful car. He's going to line up on the back. But that's your starting lineup. Is there anything else you want to add before we get this thing underway?
No, Miles. I'm super excited. Let's get this thing going.
125 laps for the Hudson Memorial 125. This race was the starting race for the Touring Series back when we used to run it, but now it's going to be the season opener for the Late Model Stock Car for the GTO League. So here we go. Let's get ready to get things underway at Northern Iowa Speedway. And the green flag is out. We are racing in the Hudson Memorial 125.
Already starting to see these drivers kind of sort out here and go single file as they come back across the stripe.
Couple too wide, backed in the back. Ooh, some contact with the wall early already back there in the pack. Still too wide. Jones looking at the inside. He's way up the track. Whoa, way on the apron. Look at that moment. The 75 car of Huffman went way down to the inside. I want to take another look at this one real quick.
That was a very strong move to go for early in the race.
Yeah, whoa, I think Hedinger cut his nose off. A lot of contact between them two. They were able to keep it going straight though as Sellers settled into the lead now.
You reckon she got loose there on the outside lane trying to get back to the bottom?
Yeah, one really tough thing here is the way the banking is on this racetrack. It's really easy to lose the rear end of the car trying to get that thing down to the bottom lane, which is the preferred line in these race cars.
Miles, what do you think is going to be the overall strategy for this race? Because you surround yourself with late models. You love local short track racing. So what the fans that don't know about this, what do you expect them to see today?
Well, the one thing about these, Brown looking at the inside there for P2, not going to be able to do it. But one thing about these late model stock cars is they're pretty high horsepower race cars that don't have a lot of grip. They love to go through those Hoosier tires. So keeping the tires on this thing is going to be the biggest key to winning this race here today. Who can last the longest on the racetrack? Who can avoid wheel spinning off of the corner the most? Because keeping those shoes underneath the car is going to be really important come longer runs.
I definitely agree with that, Miles. This is a very interesting race so far as it's panning out. A lot of drivers, you see, trying to make positions up. Seeing some drivers opt to run a little bit of a higher groove in 3 and 4 instead of running that red line on the bottom of the racetrack.
Ooh, slipping and sliding, trying to get the power down off of turn 4.
But man, Miles, that's not a very good sight to see, man. They're already slipping and sliding like that. Either the tire is really wearing out or these guys are starting to push a lot more.
Yeah, it's just, this track is really, really slick, but you look at the racetrack and you see the track map in the top right of your screen. This may look like the track is the same at each end of the racetrack, but it's not. The exit of turn 4 is actually a little bit different than the exit of turn 2. The banking ends a little bit quicker, and it's really hard to get that car to grip up and get the power down on the front straightaway.
I definitely agree, but look at a pass.
Whoa!
Ty Majeski
He
gets
moves
underneath the
Brown
60.
way up the racetrack. That's going to cause Brown to lose a lot of spots. Can he get it gathered up and get down to the bottom? No, so here comes Servant to the inside as well.
Brown needs to get back to that bottom lane. Maybe Roberts will help him get back to the bottom since these two are buddies in real life, but I don't know if they're going to give him a chance.
I think when you're out there on the racetrack, all that buddy stuff goes out the window. This is a really, really difficult track to pass at, so if you get an opportunity to pass, even if it's your buddy, sorry buddy, but I got to take it.
Race is interesting so far. Still single file right now as everybody is trying to figure out their strategy so far in the race, whether or not they need to save tires, because there's no cautions. No caution are going to be brought out during this whole race. So saving tires and seeing how long you can take these runs, I think is going to be very important.
Ooh, another moment there between Lane Riggs and David Roberts. They're side by side coming down the back straightaway. Ooh, a little contact there. One thing I love about these cars is the drivers are not afraid to use the fenders there. I'll say Riggs is way out of the groove.
All right, Brown still on the hunt. Look at him.
Whoa, some contact between Roberts and Brown coming off the corner.
Just body slams him to get him out of the groove. All right, Brown is on the charge.
Ooh, look at Lane Riggs with a really, really nice run off the high side. He's actually going to clear the 03 of Queen coming off of 4, but here comes Queen right back to the inside.
Comes a 77 trying to dive to the inside.
Now this may be back here in the pack, but every position matters here because, with this hard battling short track racing, it's really, really difficult to make passes. So you got to take them where you can get them.
See, that's the beauty, man. That's the beauty of short track racing. These drivers got to move each other out the way. They got to get a little physical to be able to make that time up on the racetrack, because you can get to somebody behind you, but since there's not much option of another groove other than that bottom lane,
Servant gets loose, 3 wide.
That's the challenge. Servant went up the track, went in there a little too deep, got into the marbles, and had to try to catch the car. Lucky she didn't hit the outside wall.
Lap times. We have fallen off lap times by 3 seconds already. So huge tire fall off, and man, it's going to be tough for these drivers to keep the tires underneath this thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Right now, we don't see a lot of drivers don't seem to be running through the field trying to get a lot of time, trying to use up those fresh tires. I think everybody's kind of just trying to settle in the groove. I think they realize that they're going to be in for a lot of long green flag runs. But right now, it doesn't seem like anybody's pushing too terribly hard unless you see something else, Miles.
Still a side-by-side between a couple of drivers back in the pack. These guys have been going at it all day long. Queen has been stuck on the outside lane for I don't know how many laps.
That can't be good for his tires.
Huffman trying to get to this side. Look at Huffman's right front. It's about killed. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some guys starting to dive on the pit road for 4 fresh Hoosiers here soon.
Wearing out those right front tires here.
You can hear them screeching as they go through the corners.
What a beautiful camera angle that is.
See him diving in the turn 4 there, or 3 there.
Still sliding off the corner exit. Still lighting up the rear tires. It's insane to think about it.
Side by side here, Junior looking the inside of Hettinger. It's cool. All these drivers have come from a late model background. Some of these drivers have made it up to the NASCAR Cup Series. Some of them are trying to make their way to the NASCAR Cup Series, but in my opinion, nothing beats some good old small town short track racing like you see here in the late model stock tour. Ooh, here comes Byron on the pit road. He's going to bring a couple with him. Pollard and Barry's going to join him.
That's an interesting strategy call so far. Coming in for tires, Peyton Sellers, Ty Majeski, R.A. Brown, Roberts. A lot of people still stayed out on the racetrack. Only a couple people took time to go in pit lane this time around. Let's see if somebody else comes in.
Sellers and Majeski are going to opt to do it, but Brown is going to stay on the racetrack yet again.
I don't know how that's going to play out for him. I guess he's trying to go a little bit extra on those tires.
His right front is completely gone. No more rubber left on that thing, so I bet you it's got to be a handful trying to wheel that thing around here.
You can hear him playing with the throttle through the center of the corners.
Let's go into his in-car camera here. We can really get a good view.
Babying that thing. Even having to drop a gear down. I don't know if he. I think he needs to come in the pit. He's staying out for a really long time.
Oh, here he goes in the pit road.
Glad he listened to me.
Brown dives in on the lead. Rigg follows him right behind. Larson's going to stay on the racetrack. One of those. He's a really good dirt car driver. He can drive pretty much anything really good on the dirt. Haven't seen him too many times in late models. Did kind of cut his teeth in the Cannon E Series at Bowman Gray and Greenville Pickens and tracks around the southeast. He's going to dive onto pit lane now. I believe that's going to cause Sellers to re-inherit the lead here.
Followed by William Byron. What do you think about that 24 car right now? Pretty quiet so far this race, but he's been sticking with the pole sitter of Peyton Sellers.
Yeah, I think you just don't want to use up your stuff too early. Don't want to show your cards so early. Just kind of settle in the groove, figure out what you got, what adjustments you need to make in order to make it to the end of this thing. And just kind of feel out the car and the track, because the track's going to be changing. It's going to be rubbering up. The sun is starting to set just a touch here as we get into later afternoon. So I believe turns 3 and 4 are actually in the shade, while 1 and 2 are still in the sun. So just really feel how the track changes affect your race car.
Yeah, but we see right now in the top 3 actually. Peyton Sellers, he's a late model guy. William Byron second, he runs in the Cup Series full time, and you got Ty Majeski who runs in the Truck Series full time. So who do you think has the advantage here? Do you think the local short track racing guy has the advantage in Sellers, or do you think the drivers with the more experience racing those bigger tracks in the Cup Series will have the bigger advantage?
See, a lot of times these late models, they normally stick to tracks under a half mile, so this is a pretty large track for these late model stock cars. So a lot of those hometown drivers, they probably aren't used to something this big. They're used to those small, 3/8 of a mile racetrack, a little bit smaller than that, maybe even 4/10 of a mile, under a half mile, like Greenville Pickens, Anderson Motor Speedway, South Boston, those type racetracks. These larger racetracks, you might not use near as much brake, so it might kind of play into those Cup drivers' hands, but I think everyone's pretty much on a level playing field here, because this is one tough racetrack.
But you see Peyton Sellers has taken a huge lead so far during this race. I think he might be pushing those tires pretty hard. Ooh, big moment from R.A. Brown there as he exits turn 2.
Trying to get the thing gathered up on the bottom.
Nice pack of cars in the back. That
Junior looking the inside.
After the pit stops kind of cycling out, we're starting to see some little packs starting to form up here. Little groups of cars that are running together. We're starting to see who the class of the field is so far. But for all we know, some people might be saving tires and some people might be running the limit right now. So really in the air.
These guys been going at it back here. Larson's going to clear him on the high side, though.
How about that Dale Jr., though? It's really exciting to see him out here mixing it up with these guys on this racetrack. Always a great day when Junior's at the racetrack.
He actually got his start back in the day at Myrtle Beach Motor Speedway in South Carolina. He started there before moving up to the Busch and the Cup Series, so it's nice to see him going back to his roots and doing some late model stock racing.
Wow, but Peyton Sellers has checked out so far. All right, Brown trying to work on Roberts here.
Ooh, another car getting loose off of turn 4. See a lot of cars slipping and sliding where that banking ends, trying to get the car to grip up off the corner.
But look at Sellers just pulling away right now.
Take a look at the in-car camera here, see him wheel this thing around the racetrack.
Seems to be driving that thing pretty hard so far. A lot of playing with the throttle here. Very tricky. See, he pushed the car just a little bit too much. He got loose coming up out of the corner, which is going to help William Byron gain some time, but what skill it takes to drive cars like this.
We'll see what it's like to drive in-car back in one of these packs.
Roberts, oh, big moment there.
He got loose to his inside, trying to get the power down.
He about went full lock the other direction. That was awesome.
We've seen a lot of drivers starting to test out the second lane from the bottom to try to make some passes off of 4 and off of 2. So I wonder if that second groove is starting to get rubbered in a little bit, because a lot of those drivers might not be able to get the power down on the inside lane like they want to. Whoa, Roberts way up the racetrack.
That's why, Miles. That's why. Roberts was dabbling with that outside groove. He was making passes, making some time up, but he just went just a little too far and got into those marbles, and now he's up the racetrack, and now the whole inside lane is going to freight train him. So
yeah,
once you lose that momentum,
he's going to have to go to the tail end of that pack that he's running in. Brown trying to do the outside move as well on Connor Hall here.
Side by side. Brown goes up the hill. I think he just gave it to him there on exit to try to save himself from being stuck on that outside lane. Smart move. That shows his experience. He's trying to find what Roberts had up there, but I don't know if they're going to give him a chance to find it.
The blue
As the
18
whole line goes to the inside.
Yeah, he looks like the same thing that happened to Roberts is going to happen to Brown. Both of those race cars for Brown and Roberts come out of the same shop, nestled outside of the small. Ooh, Savant way up the track in front of Brown. Caused Brown to check up. Queen's going to go to the inside of the 60 car.
But Miles, since this isn't like the typical bull ring or tight short track that late models are used to racing on, do you think dirty air might play a little bit of a factor here in the center of these corners due to the high speeds?
It might, but it probably won't make near as much as a effect as it would on like an intermediate track or a little bit bigger a track. Like later on in this late model stock tour season, when we get to BB Raceway, it might make more of a factor there. One of the road courses we're gonna dabble with.
Great move on the outside. Serving
momentum up. I think this is some really, really good momentum-based racing. You've noticed those drivers that have been able to make passes are the drivers that have been able to keep the momentum up better than other drivers.
Servant got a great run out of turn 4 on the previous lap. Got beside Queen.
Oh, she does it again off of the corner. Trying to go at it again.
Still looking for that grip on the outside lane, but just can't quite find it there to hold
get it
position
in 3
in
and
turn 1
4.
and 2.
Some cars start to dive down a pit lane.
But that's one thing I love to see in short track
Serving
racing.
up the racetrack.
These drivers trying to figure out where to run, where's the best place to put their race car, because believe it or not, you can run the bottom lane the whole race, but it might not get you to win if you can't figure out how to drive that outside lane. So just being able to adapt to the changing conditions, the tire wear, is what makes short track racing so exciting.
Couple drivers opting to get some fresh rubber on the race car. As you see Pollard and a couple others. I see Majeski's going to pit out of P2.
Sellers is staying out again.
Brown's staying out as well. He's still got a little bit of right front left.
Sellers
does not have any. Which I think here, this type of racing, track position is key. Wherever you can get the track position, you need to get it.
Nice move on the outside. The 99 gets it done on the 18 of Roberts. But right now we're starting to see a mix of fresh tires and old tires, and it's definitely showing. I think some lap traffic stacked everybody up there. Up the hill goes the 26. Trying that outside groove again. Great block by Connor Hall.
Larson opted the pit. I believe he was inside the top 5.
Larson has been running the really long stretch. Contact in the
Contact back there.
Majeski is in the wall now. Alright, Brown finally comes into pit with Lane Riggs.
I believe William Byron actually jumped Sellers on pit road. Something must have happened in the Sellers. See if we can get back to them real quick. He did.
I think Sellers might have got caught up in some of that lap traffic in
But
between
he's
the
still
pit cycles.
right on the tail of these two. He gets a nudge from Barry though. Barry cycles out of P3. Ooh, look at him. Slipping and sliding.
What a scrap for the lead so far. These two cars are the class of the field so far.
Way up the hill. Whoa! Sliding in between two. Wow.
Oh
that was almost
gosh.
a massive wreck. I kind of want to watch that one again. That was high.
How did he save that?
He was on the
Look at
apron. See if we get a better camera angle here.
He looked like he gassed it up when he saw a hole in front of him and tried to fill it and got very sideways. What an ambitious move by this young guy. Whoa!
Yep. Barely made it in there.
He almost just cleaned out Queen on the outside lane.
Kind of want to see Queen's in-car camera of this view. This is going to be a good view of this.
Look how far he is back from him, though, too.
You know, I guess if see Queen got out of the groove, and here he comes sliding through.
Oh my gosh!
I guess that's the epitome of if you got to run, you got to take it.
These guys are aggressive today.
If this is the show what we have in store for the rest of the season, then this is going to be a great season here.
Especially since we're going to come back here for the championship race, so that's going to be super exciting.
Under the lights, it's going to be a great race to watch that one. The 94.3, the Dude 100 will be the championship race yet again. That has pretty much been our championship race almost every single season.
But look at these guys just pull away from the field. It's just they have something underneath them that's just next level. And William Byron's pit stop was incredible. If that's what got him out and ahead of him was that great pit stop, then he must have brought that Cup Series team with him to the late model track, to the short track.
One of the guys I want to check out is Josh Berry. He started pretty far back, but he's up there in P3 now, fighting in that lead pack. So it's really, really nice to see him. He gained a lot of positions.
Up 4 positions since the drop of the green flag, if you want to go there. I think he had some trouble early on in the race, fell back a lot of positions and strategy his way back up there. So very impressive, very resilient of that Josh Berry camp. I don't think Dale Jr. is having the day that he expected so far, running back in 16th. Struggling with the handling on that car, trying to figure it out. It's not really dialing in to his comfort level.
Pretty spread out throughout the racetrack. Ooh, talk about spread out. The leaders are not spread out.
on his bumper as they go into 3 and 4.
Slipping and
Ooh,
sliding off the corner.
And sometimes Miles, is really hard to not fan out, while you're watching these races. Just keep you on the edge of your seat the whole time. You see a big save, a big slide, huge move. It just gets your blood pumping, man. It gets you excited.
Byron's gonna take the halfway mark here. Cross flags being shown at the flag stand, halfway point of the event. So halfway through the Hudson Memorial 125, do you have a pick that you think will win the race here today?
Man, if I had to pick anybody right now, I'm gonna say William Byron. I'm gonna have to go with Byron. He has the pit crew to get it done. He has the speed to get it done. All he has to do is manage those tires and watch Peyton Sellers. And if he can do that, I think William Byron's gonna wrap this up.
I'd have to go with Sellers. Sellers has been really, really fast all day long. I think he's my pick. He started racing. He races a lot at South Boston Speedway, which is a pretty close racetrack to this one right here. A little bit shorter, but high bank, fast racetrack. So he's a lot of experience at tracks like this.
Man, this is still single filed out. We see farther in the back a lot of people grouped up. What a move! Great move by the 4 car of Eric Jones.
And this is bunched up right here. I bet you the drivers behind this are just screaming, please get me out of here, spotter. Please tell me I'm clear all around. Please get me out of this mess without wrecking.
Everybody's trying to get to the bottom groove here. Everybody's starting to, you see, they've searched for that outside lane. It seems like as the tires wear in over time, I think it might have rubbered up a little bit, and there seems to be a little more grip up there on the outside lane.
It's really interesting to see how the track has changed throughout this race so far. I'm seeing the outside lane come in, like you're saying, to your point, just the outside lane starting to come in a little bit. You can see the rubber starting to build up, but I still think if drivers step out just a little bit too far, I mean, you get in those marbles, your car's shooting up the racetrack, and you're losing 5 to 6 spots. Who hard
Like
into the wall?
Like that, exactly like that. All right, Brown trying to hold his position on the outside lane, couldn't quite do it. Big run by the 18. All right, Brown seems to be struggling with that car. That's why he's
into the wall. He's got some damage off of that one. That's going to cause him to slow down a little bit. Majeski looking at the inside. Ooh, Servent just slid up into Heim.
You think Servent and Heim having a little problem back there? A little bit of a dispute?
You know, these short tracks, you get short fuses on these short tracks. Tempers definitely flare up quick here with this. This is just a really physical style of racing, and it's really, really easy to lose your temper here at a track like this. Especially with how hard it is to pass here. If you got a slower car in front of you, you're definitely not going to be afraid to move that car out of the way if it's 10 to 15 laps to go. So there's definitely going to be some hurt feelings at the end of this one.
I have to agree, more pit stops. Huffman comes in first, actually, early from 7th place. That's an interesting call. Here comes William Byron.
Wonder if that'll cycle out Huffman in the lead. Byron still opting to stay out. I see that number 24 car. He actually won in the World Series of Asphalt at New Smyrna Speedway the week before the Daytona 500 this year. So he is no stranger to driving late models. Those super late models down there, but still really, really good on short tracks.
But you see right now, William Byron has pulled a gap on Peyton Sellers. That could be an interesting thing, but we did also see Peyton Sellers do the same thing earlier in this run, and it honestly lost him a spot on pit lane. But right now, I feel like
a straightaway right behind, or a straightaway in front of Byron, what is Landon Huffman? So Huffman's trying to stop from going a lap down. He does not want to go a lap down and lose time because he's the first one's out on fresh tires.
Right now we're starting to see an integration of pitted cars and unpitting cars.
Here comes Byron and Sellers, the 2 leaders in.
The tricky thing about the pit road here is that you go in and exit on the same part of the racetrack. So when you're diving into pit lane, somebody might be diving out of pit lane. So you better watch your left side, or it could be catastrophic for your race.
Brown back in the top 5, Servant and them going at it for this position.
Next car on fresh tires is from the lead. Was it Josh Berry?
Josh Berry is the first one out on fresh tires, so he's actually jumped Byron in pit.
But he's right behind Lane
And Byron's
Riggs.
way up the racetrack.
Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, and R.A. Brown need to be a little cautious here, because they've been out for a while, and Josh Berry is making his way around.
Yeah, here comes Riggs on the pit lane now, and Majeski as well.
Maybe that 62 machine might have figured something out here. He is putting some
keeping
great
up.
laps down.
18.7 is his last lap, so he's put some great laps here together as he's running down Brown, which is Brown's still out on old tires. Brown's going to finally go get a fresh set of Hoosiers. Whoa, crash back straightaway.
Oh my.
Majeski
Whoa!
around hard to the wall. Other cars pile in.
Oh my god, hopefully he gets off the racing surface.
First car around of the night. Whoa, he
Coming
goes
up,
back
bar
up in the
contact.
traffic. I believe Hall, and that was Byron that got some damage off of that as well. Let's
That
take
is
a look
not
at
what Byron
another look
needed.
at what happened here. Ooh,
Gotta got
what a
hooked,
hit.
and there was nowhere for them to go, man. They couldn't stop.
I believe it happened when he was exiting pit lane. Whoa, merged right out in the traffic, and Hedinger and Quapple pile in.
Him and his spotter are gonna have a conversation after this race. I
They definitely,
believe that.
something's definitely got to happen. You saw a lot of damage for a lot of cars there. And he spun down to the inside lane and then trying to come back on the racetrack and get some
Got tagged
contact more. But see if we can. Yeah, nowhere to go for Servant. There's nothing that she could have done. She
She's
looked
probably
for-
showing some seared displeasure over the microphone, over the
Take
radio
a look
right
on
now.
Quapple. He was one of the cars that piled in. See the wreck and fold in front of him, and he had nowhere to go. Back straightaway's blocked. Heavy front end damage, engine damage to that car. So tough break for Quapple and Majeski.
You can see the driver shaking in there, where the engine's running rough.
But Barry and Huffman, first cars out on fresh tires. Pollard at the P3. Pollard is really good at these type of tracks. He races a lot down at Five Flags Raceway. Ooh, into the back
Pushing.
end. He got some front end damage from that. He gave Barry a hell of a shot going into the corner. I think he wants to get around the 62 car. Byron's back in the mix as well, trying to make his way through lap traffic.
But just for some information on the series, the point system that we are running is the exact same as your local short track cars tour, especially the one that Dale Jr. is operating currently, and other Cup drivers, I'm pretty sure. So it's a very tight point system, but we're also looking at 2 bonus points for fastest lap, 1 bonus point for pole position, and also an extra bonus point for the race win. So there are a lot of other points up for grabs on the weekend other than your finishing position, so keep that in mind as well as we go through this 10-race season.
This is going to be really fun to see how these drivers adapt to these different tracks, because we have a large variety of short racetracks, a lot of short road courses, some short tracks to go to. It's going to be lots of fun to see how these drivers do and just how the point system shakes out, because this has been a really, really competitive race so far. As Huffman's out in the lead, but Barry is really close behind.
Starting to see these guys work a lot of different grooves. Peyton Sellers got way high over there in turns 3 and 4.
Hall to the inside of Queen back there for 6th spot.
Hey, we've been sleeping on Connor Hall. Connor Hall started deep in the field. Started 17th position and is up to P6.
Sellers way out of the groove there. He's going to lose a lot of time.
I think that lap traffic's starting to get in the way.
Huffman out here leading. Landon Huffman is this past year's champion for limited late models at Hickory Motor Speedway. So no stranger to short track racing like this. He races in the Cars Tour a little bit. Got him a new ride this year in the Cars Tour, so it's going to be nice to see what he can do. As Byron is right on the rear bumper of Josh Berry.
The thing that concerns me most, man, is that Landon Huffman and Josh Berry pit too early.
I think take a look at their tires. Look at the difference. Berry slipped up. That opens the door for Byron.
Josh Berry was going to try to get in front of Byron and try to slow the pace down, save his tires, and try to manage the gap. But after that mistake, look at the time difference already. Josh Berry's
and they are running down Huffman. These guys are quick.
Those fresh tires are making a huge difference here. Look at Peyton Sellers already back in the hunt after multiple mistakes.
I will say Pollard, he pitted a little bit earlier than Sellers and Byron, but he's really holding his own there. Now in P3, he's really holding his own.
Well, Pollard is a very experienced late model racing driver, so I'm not surprised at all by him being able to stay up there on those older tires, be able to save a little bit of tire as well. So I feel like he's doing exactly what he's been doing.
These guys have been having a pack race back there in the back. You think these fans are watching the lead battle more or the battle back there for 18th more?
I don't know, Miles. My eyes are all over the place right now, bouncing from lead battle to the pack in the back. You want to see what's going on everywhere. It's really hard, but the cool thing is about a track this short, especially for the fans in the stands right now, you can see the whole thing, so you won't miss a thing.
Talk about the fans in the stands. What a crowd here today. Great racetrack, great facility. I love coming here. I know you love coming here. We've both had our fair share of wins here, so it's always a fun track to be able to come back to and watch some races as a fan instead of a driver, because sometimes this place can frustrate you. You can feel like a champion one day leaving this racetrack after dominating, and then feel down in the dumps after losing a race here.
That's also another fascinating part. You can bring that same winning setup the next weekend, and it'll be a completely different racetrack. That's the fun part about this right here.
This is like the total opposite style of racing we saw back here at the Renegades 150 last time we were at the racetrack. In the Sylvia, or the Strictly Stock store, or the Strictly Stock series, we were all running in the top lane, right at the wall, if not a lane down from the wall. So this is the total, whoa, Huffman dives it on the pit lane, but this is the total opposite style of racing that we're used to normally seeing here.
William Byron still doing a good job holding on to the lead. I think he's gotten up front with the freshest tires. I think he's going to try to save him right now. I think that's his good game plan, because he knows Bubba Pollard, Josh Berry, all those guys are on older tires.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more right front than Pollard and Berry do. Berry doesn't have any left, but Berry's been doing really good so far. His pit strategy has got him some great track position throughout this race, as he's going to take a hard left on the pit lane.
Once again, it's about to be the William Byron Peyton Sellers show maybe, but Bubba Pollard is spoiling that party for them, running strong in P2 right now. Here's somebody we haven't talked much about. Tony Breidinger up to P8 right now.
Yeah, we saw Pollard. He just dipped on the pit lane. So opting for fresh tires a little bit earlier, because they're going to come around and clock a lap 100. So 25 laps to go. starting to wind down a little bit here, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I think there's going to be a really awkward final pit stop here. I feel like a lot of these guys are going to try to save them until the end, and somebody might come down and get fresh tires, and it's going to be all heck breaking loose. A lot of people are going to scramble to get those fresh tires to counter that strategy, but other people are going to try to save those tires and run real long. So I'm super excited to see how this plays out.
Byron ducks on the pit lane. Sellers staying out.
Now
Right behind him.
lap.
Riggs and Roberts are staying out as well on older tires. They still got a little bit of right front left. Here comes Sellers
they're all
on the
just
pit
trying
lane.
to hold on to these race cars right now. I heard a lot of tires screeching. Ari Brown up to fourth, Kyle Larson in third, Roberts in second place.
And I think Brown is still out there on older tires. So Huffman and Pollard and all them, they're on fresh rubber trying to get past them.
You reckon they're trying to stretch?
Ooh, Pollard, he got a little loose. I think they're definitely going to try to stay out to the end. Maybe one more pit stop. You could try to split this final thing, but here comes Roberts and Larson on the pit lane. Riggs is still out on the racetrack, though.
This is going to be a really interesting strategy call right now.
Brown is still out, but he's got a lot of drivers right behind him on fresh tires. They are three wide. Brown gets moved up from Hall. I was suspecting that to happen. These faster cars trying to get past the slower cars.
Brown has no drive off the corner. Those tires are worn.
But Hall is now the first car on fresh tires. Pollard right behind him.
You can see the difference in corner entry. You can just see the difference in general, like throughout the whole lap.
As Riggs is
faster in the center.
Coming to the pits. Connor Hall is inherited the lead. Pollard, Barry, and them got stuck behind Brown, who's still out there on old tires. So Huffman's still stuck behind him. So Huffman's lost a lot of time to these guys, and Byron is still trying to gain some time back as well.
The thing is, will they have enough time for those fresh tires to catch those old tires?
Well, with the amount of tire fall off we've seen so far today, tire fall off has been crazy.
What, mid 18 second lap times all the way to 21 second lap times at the slowest? If we're looking at Connor Hall's lap times?
Over 3 to 4 seconds of fall off throughout the pack. It's crazy the pace difference as the run goes on. Whoa, look at them trying to make their way around the lap car of Quapple.
But some of these drivers hadn't even touched 17 seconds in lap time, and Peyton Sellers dropped that 17.5 for the fastest lap.
That's just about about a tenth slower than what he won the pole with. So really, really fast lap time from him, and that's going to get him a bonus point, I believe.
But one thing I am noticing is when Peyton Sellers gets back in that lap traffic, man, it just kind of, his car just doesn't work the way it was when it was out front. I think that's what shows in his qualifying effort that he had that really fast qualifying time up there by himself. When he set the fast lap, he was up there in the lead too, so he had that clean air. But once he got mired in traffic, he just has not been able to recover very fast.
It's been a really, really good race so far. The strategy has played a huge role. Lots of comers and goers throughout the pack.
Look at these cars fly by. Quapple goes into pit lane. Ari Brown as well. I think Ari gave up on that strategy, but it might be too late.
There's no lapped cars between Pollard and the leader Hall. Pollard has more tires than Hall, so can he run him down in time? We're closing in on 10 laps to go here.
Will he have the time is the question. Well, their tires are pretty close.
Can Hall catch the lap traffic right? I think he's going to stuck behind Quapple here again. He does. That's going to cause
needs to move him.
Pollard is going to gain a ton of time on Hall here.
I'm surprised Connor Hall didn't move him. That was a very respectful move by him.
He's
I
still
hope it
losing a
doesn't
lot
cost
of
him.
time. I think Quapple wasn't quite up to speed yet in turns 3 and 4, but he's on fresher tires, so he should pull away from the leaders, I would think. But that definitely, I mean, Pollard's right back in Connor Hall's lap.
Look how good Pollard takes the corner. He's following in Hall's footsteps. Oh, contact!
That's going to cause Pollard to get some damage, actually. Hall is going to be able to screech out to another lead.
Pollard took a hard hit just now.
Barry back up to P3. Byron has a good amount more tire than Barry, though. He's trying to make his way back up.
Well, look at William Byron again, still climbing up that leaderboard.
Majeski going to look to the outside of Pollard in the turn 1. Not going to be able to get her done, though. Sellers trying to make his way back up to the front. We're closing in on 5 laps to go, so it's go time here. I mean, it's the saving tires is being thrown out of the window. It's time to get this thing underway.
That 77 car and Bubba Pollard, Hall and Pollard are the people to watch right now as they're going down into turns 3 and 4.
Pollard is definitely starting to cut down on that time yet again. I bet you Hall can see him growing bigger and bigger in his rearview mirror.
Question is, will the tires make it to the end?
Pollard's trying to battle with that lap car.
Majeski.
Majeski on fresher tires than both of the leaders, so he's definitely faster.
And bests him.
Look at the run! Oh, right into the back bumper. 5 laps to go in the Hudson Memorial 125. Who is going to bring it home? Can Hall make it to the end on tires?
I think Hall might have this thing in his lap right now, especially if Majeski keeps battling with Bubba Pollard like he is now in the wall hard. Still side by side.
He is not happy with Majeski.
Connor Hall is loving what he's seen in his
3 to
go
go.
right now.
His right front's about gone, though. Does he have enough tire?
I hope it doesn't give out. All these drivers are saving tires. Bubba Pollard's trying to save, but he also has to push. Ty Majeski is just being a thorn in his behind right now.
His right front's gone now. 2 to go. Pollard closing in. Can
Hall's really slow.
Hall?
Hall's really slow.
He goes on the pit lane.
I think he lost a tire.
Pollard's going to inherit the lead as we come out of the final turn to get the white flag. Pollard takes the white flag. Barry trying to gain some time, fighting for P2. Down the back straightaway they go one last time.
Bubba Pollard's all by himself.
Looks like he's got this one in the bag through 3 and 4 for the final time. Off the final turn, Bubba Pollard is going to park it in victory lane in the Hudson Memorial 125 for the GTO Late Model Stock Tour. Josh Berry finishes 2nd, Byron 3rd, Sellers 4th, Huffman 5th. What a race here tonight. Pollard pulls off the upset. Man, what a battle here as the number 26 car is going to go down to victory lane.
That number 26 car was fast. It was fast. It just seemed like Pollard was the fastest car on track, and I think he was trying to make everybody think that. Everybody downplayed him, and he played into his experience. He saved those tires. He pitted when he needed to pit. He did what he had to do to get that track position, and he got up there towards the front. He saved those tires, and he got it done.
So really, really good. Just a really, really fun race to watch here today. Let's go through your finishing order here. Bubba Pollard, of course, won tonight's race, picking up his first career win of the GTO Late Model Stock Tour here tonight. Barry's going to get a nice P2 finish. Byron's going to get a nice P3 finish. Sellers, he's going to finish P4, so good top 5 from him after starting on pole. Nice points day. Huffman is going to finish right behind him. Servant is going to finish behind him. Breidinger, Heim, Jr., then Jones, Roberts, Queen, Larson, Riggs, Hall, Brown, Hedinger, Quapple, Majeski, and that'll be it for the finishing order. So what a race here today, and what races do we have in store for next week's race?
Next week we are going to Blue Moon Infield B, a fast, flowy racetrack at Blue Moon on the infield. We're not going to race to the oval just yet. Just want to be a little bit of a tease on that. Wait till later in the season, but I'm super excited for that race as well. We're going to follow that up with Goodwood as well. But right now, person to look at is Peyton Sellers. Peyton Sellers picks up 3 bonus points today, for 2 of which for having the fastest lap and 1 for pole position. So that's going to offset his fallen positions right now. So that's going to put him second in points, followed behind Bubba Pollard, who has 1 point advantage.
Yeah, that may not seem like a lot of points, but man, it sure does add up, especially when you're in a tight championship battle, which is looking like this season is definitely going to be, man, one point could be the difference between you going home with a championship or you going home with a silver medal. So, man, what a race here tonight. What some great battles here tonight. I am looking forward to coming back here for the championship. It was so great to bring the Hudson Memorial 125 back, and what a race it was.
It was an amazing race. These guys are going to put it all on the line when we come back here at the end of the season. Completely different circumstances. A lot more high energy. It's not going to be as laid back and relaxed. These guys are going to have to come here and they're going to have to go. So all the things that they learned from today's race, they're going to be writing that down in their notebooks, and they're going to be studying that information. So when they come back, they have everything they need to tackle this racetrack.
Well, thank you again for joining me here today, Rashad. I'm looking forward to the next race. I can't wait. It's going to be a really fun season so far. We will post points updates and stuff on our Instagram page, so make sure to give that a follow. And the race replay, of course, will be posted on our YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe, like us, make sure that we're doing stuff good. Give us some comments, some feedback of what we can do a little bit better. And just thank you all for watching. And so long from Northern Isle Speedway. Bubba Pollard is your winner here tonight. We will see you again next time. So long from the GTO League here in the Late Model Stock Tour.